Locally owned Murfreesboro, the podcast. The people and the stories behind what makes Murfreesboro matter.
Where we get to know the people you need to know in and around the borough.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of Locally Owned Murfreesboro, the podcast. We are excited to celebrate Marissa's birthday this weekend. Her birthday is on Memorial Day, and we don't care that everybody's out of town. We wanted to celebrate her today. And even though this airs after her birthday, you should all send her messages and tell her happy belated
Birthday month.
So the whole happy birthday, her little wiggly headset. Yeah, it's celebration.
Thank you.
Thanks to Simply Pure Sweets for the yummy, delicious goodness. We had some this morning, so thanks. And Brass Horn for always caffeinating
Me.
Marissa.
Yes.
So we're excited to have another fun guest. It's always fun to bring on folks that I personally know, but I haven't really talked to this gentleman in a while. So we're excited to have Brent Scott from Premier Home Inspection.
Yay.
It's good to be here.
Studio audience roars.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
So
I don't have the headphones, so I don't hear the sound effects.
Right.
It's
So
weird.
Brent and I go way back. I mean, I think he babysitted my kid once. No, I know he babysitted my kid once because there are still stories. But so since you started your business and it took off, like you guys have just been moving and shaking, and I'm just excited to hear a lot of your story. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
so first, tell us, what is Premier Home Inspection?
So we are a small locally owned home inspection company. My wife and I, Ginger Scott, we own it together. She's actually 51%. So we are technically a minority-owned
female-owned.
female-owned. And we thought we were doing that for tax reasons, but the truth is she's the boss. She's the brains. She's
amazing.
She really is. Yeah, we're a home inspection company. We do residential inspections, commercial inspections. We do pool inspections, short-term rental. We're doing a lot of those, a lot of Airbnbs in town and in Middle Tennessee and Nashville. And there are some inspections that have to be done. So we do those. We do mold testing. We do radon testing. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other stuff, but basically everything, home inspections, environmental services. So.
I know you did all the home inspection things, and I recently went through my whole process of all of those things. But it seems like a lot for one person to do. Is that how you started out doing all of the things?
Yeah. So back when I first met Missy, I'd been working for another inspection company north of Nashville, and I learned a lot there. And it was when the state licensing law came in 2006. Before 2006, to be a home inspector in Tennessee, you just needed a tape measure and you called yourself. Yeah, it was amazing. And ironically, a lot of the inspectors that were working at that time were very against the new law. I supported it. I thought it was great for the industry, and it was. Anyway, when that went down, Ginger and I started thinking and praying about starting our own company, and some circumstances happened that it was very clear that it was time to do that. So we did. And to get to your question, it was a lot for one person. When you have this type of service industry, you start off hoping you can pay your mortgage. That's where you start.
Mm-hmm.
And when we started in 2006, we had no idea that the bubble had burst. We didn't know. We started in September. That following January of 2007, I called my best friend and said, "Hey man, look, I'm not going to cover my mortgage. I don't think I did 12 inspections the month of January of 2007. To give you a kind of a relation, I'll do 12 this week. Right.
Oh, I gotcha.
And we have several other inspectors that work with us. We're a multi-inspector firm, and they will each do several a week. So, doing 12 in a month, there's not enough there for the mortgage and the baby food. So my buddy said, "Of course, I've got your back if you need." Well, I didn't need. We started praying, and we just started working hard. And by that next March, I had to hire help because I was doing 3 a day pretty much every day, Monday through Saturday.
Wow.
And you get to a point where you have to find that balance of when can I not do it anymore? And 3 a day is too much. I allow my guys to do 2 a day most of the time.
Yeah.
Because
Because they're thorough.
yeah, 3 a day is a lot,
Then you
especially.
have to get back to the homeowner.
Yeah,
you know?
right. I mean, there's
Notes and
Yeah.
reports.
you guys remember when Hastings was down the road here? My wife and I were talking about this yesterday. I can remember I would do inspections all day, and then we had young kids. So I can't work at home with young kids. So I would go over to Hastings until they closed almost every night, typing reports. Just took
Wow.
forever. Well, then you get to the point where you realize you can't continue that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we hired some help, and we've had some amazing inspectors with us over the years, and we've got an amazing crew now. So one of the things that we're able to do that maybe some of the other smaller firms can't do is we can get you pretty quick. If I'm very good friends with several of my competitors. We help each other. We refer each other.
That's great.
If there are people think home inspectors know everything. If your home inspector is telling you he knows everything or she knows everything, find a different home inspector,
run
because
fast.
run fast, because we don't. So there's, I've got a lot of competitors that I can call and say, hey, I'm looking at this. What do you think? And, so a lot of those guys that are one-man shows, they're maybe 2 or 3 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most real estate contracts, you've got a 5, maybe 7 day window. So
yeah.
that's very helpful. It's too much for one person to do long term. So
yeah.
Cool.
Wow. So from 12 in a month to 3 a day to now, how many employees do you have?
We've got 5 inspectors, and we have an environmental wing that it's a man named Van that's been with me for 11, 12 years now. And he is our environmental specialist. He does all the mold and radon environmental testing. We also do meth testing, which is very interesting. We've only done one of those, and hopefully that's the only one that we do.
Need to do. Yeah. Noted.
But yeah, he does all of that. And so there's 6 of us total. We have a full-time office staff too. So.
Nice. So 2006. So that's 17 years. Did I just do my math real fast?
Yeah, you did.
Woo!
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't ask me.
Thanks, Miss Edwards. 8th grade math. Yeah. So 17 years. Wow. Golly, now I'm like, whoa.
I know, it's amazing.
That's crazy. So we always like to ask, like, what's your tie to Murfreesboro? Like, how did you get to Murfreesboro, and why are you still here?
Man, that's a fun question. So I grew up in Franklin, and that was back before you had to be a multimillionaire to live in Franklin.
Yes.
Right. It was a very agricultural town. You could drive across town in literally 10 to 12 minutes. And you would pass several people that you knew. You'd wave at people that you recognized by their vehicle.
Yeah.
So I moved here in 1994.
So the late 1900s.
Yeah, late 1900s. That's right.
Jeez.
Actually, I think it was 93. But anyway, it was a long time ago. And I can remember back then moving to Murfreesboro to go to MTSU. That's what moved me here.
Okay.
And I remember growing up in Franklin, I'd been to Murfreesboro maybe once in my whole life. It was like a whole nother time zone for us. And I remember thinking that Murfreesboro was just a metropolis. It's a huge city. And remember, this was in the early 90s, right? So I moved here. I barely graduated high school. I doubt that any of my high school teachers would ever hear this, but if they did, they would probably be amazed that anyone would let me be on any kind of recording from the way I was in high school.
And own their own business.
And I actually had a teacher once tell me that I'm going to either end up in prison or pumping gas. That's what he told me.
Oh, so, take that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Encouragement there. So,
wow.
Backhanded, but hey.
Yeah.
Take that.
I appreciate him saying it because it was amazing motivation to me. Because I pump gas 2 or 3 times a week because I'm running all over Middle Tennessee doing home inspections. But anyway, I moved to MTSU, made straight A's and B's. I did throw in a C every now and then just for some flair.
Yeah.
But, loved it. The teachers were amazing. The professors were amazing. It was such a different experience for me being at MTSU with a level of really the professors were just amazing.
And what did you study?
I studied recreational therapy.
Okay.
Which I don't even think exists anymore. But I did work in that field for a few years, and I learned a lot about psychology. Honestly, that's where I ended up working in a field, working with kids that had been in trouble and a lot of big trouble, like real trouble. And that's oddly enough, that's really helped me doing home inspections because it helps me read people when I'm going over my findings in a report or whatever. It helps me read, are these people freaking out? Can I kind of help them back up a little bit, ask them questions. But anyway, back to your question about Murfreesboro. So I came here, went to MTSU, thrived, loved it. I did the intersessions. I did MTSU in 3 years.
Wow.
Loved it.
Take that, high school.
And right, yeah. Pump that gas, Mr. So-and-so. But but really I wasn't a super student. I just, I didn't have money and I needed to get it knocked
You get
out
it
and
done.
get to work. And I was already an older student even at that time. So when I graduated, shortly after I met my wife, Ginger, and actually I met Ginger in school, but shortly after that we got married and we thought, well, we'll just move back to Franklin because mom and dad live over there. We'll go find a house and, buy a little 5 acres. And so we went to Franklin and realized, nah, you don't do that,
Yeah.
making nothing a year. So came back to Murfreesboro and rented a little place downtown, loved it. I've been plugged in with local churches forever. At that time, we were going to World Outreach, amazing church. And so we were very involved there. And that was a good grounding for us.
Amazing small group.
Incredible small group. One of the best small group leaders that's ever been.
That was Missy, by the way.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Good.
So we lived, Murfreesboro has been home ever since.
Yeah.
And our business is still, we're not in Murfreesboro, but we're still Rutherford County we're in our business is actually in Laverne. Just
that
because
enables you to touch all those
exactly,
counties
yeah,
for
we
sure.
wanted
That's
to
smart.
have a close proximity to Nashville. So
Nice.
Yeah,
that's my tie to Murfreesboro. And I just love it. It's just, it's grown a lot. There's been a lot of great change and a lot of great growth. And with growth, there's always challenges, but my business, we've kind of thrived on some of those challenges, with the increased development and all the people moving in. So it's been a blessing to us.
We do like to talk about those challenges too. So what would you say is your biggest challenge as a big business?
Well, wow.
Biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Our biggest struggle, we were talking before we started recording, we were talking about one of the other episodes that you had that sounded incredibly interesting, about they were able to bring in veterans and help them with that. And
shout out to Grace Concierge.
And one thing I was thinking about when we were saying that is I wish there was a pipeline for veterans that maybe have recently gotten out of the military to me, because one of my biggest challenges is finding the right inspectors.
Dedicated, disciplined people that you can trust 100% to be in someone else's home unsupervised. That's been one thing that's held me back from growth is, I'll meet folks that come in, they're ready to go. They've got their license, or at least they've gone through the training, and the culture just doesn't feel right to pull into my company. And so that's one of the challenges. And I think I'm hearing that across the board from folks everywhere you go. People are short staffed. And so that's one challenge. Of course, the other challenge is just, you have to continue growing. And that's, I've learned, that you can't just get content. When you get content, you start sliding back down the hill. So growth is scary too, though.
It is scary. And
it's more mouths that you're feeding.
It is. And how do you manage it? And not just manage it, but one thing that Ginger and I have strived to do with our company, with our employees, is we put them on the pedestal. When people say, you ask how many people work for you, I try to envision that I really work for them. My goal is to make their life, my inspector's life, and our office, of course, but especially the inspectors, they have a very hard job. We don't get to deliver good news. That's not our job. We're constantly delivering, here's the problems that are that we found in this house that you love, that you finally found that you can afford. It's in the right neighborhood. It's in the right school district. Here's all the bad things.
Let me rain on your parade a little bit.
Rain on the parade. It's a difficult job. I was in a crawl space a couple of days ago and literally had to crawl over a snake skin.
What?
You
can stop there. That's enough. That's a huge struggle.
There's and on top of that, sitting in bumper to bumper traffic all day. I mean, it's a difficult job. So
you lose a lot of time in your car.
You lose a lot of time in your car. So we try to focus on the leaders. We try to serve them. So as you grow, then there's more of that. One of my struggles, one of the goals that I put on myself about 4 years ago was to spend half of my time serving my inspectors. And what that means for me is if I know that one of my guys has a big house, say a long way from here, or something that's really huge or really old, or maybe I know some circumstances about it that may be difficult for him, I just show up. And I know the things that I can jump in and help an inspector do to take some stress off, to take a load off, even if it's just checking all the windows in the house. I mean, I can save a guy 20, 30 minutes just doing that, or maybe check all the outlets in the house. So that's been one of the goals I've put on myself, and I'm failing miserably because there's
The
just not the
demand.
time.
Yeah.
There's not enough time for that. So the only answer for that I can think of for that is, well, hire more inspectors. Well, that sounds
That's
easy.
more people to serve.
It's more people to serve, but also, there is a process to become a home inspector in Tennessee. Thank God, there should be. But even once a guy comes to me and through that process, I still take them for about a month or so, sometimes more, depending on the individual, and train them. So there's a lot more than just hiring somebody and putting them behind a cash register.
Right.
So that's a big challenge. And red lights and traffic is a challenge all over Middle Tennessee. That's not a Murfreesboro problem. That's a Middle Tennessee problem.
100%.
We have more cars than we have asphalt. So
yeah, true story.
Yeah.
Well, as much as we like to share our struggles, because a lot of the times we're all going through the same stuff. What about a win? What's your biggest win? What would you say for Premier Home Inspection, whether it be this year or 17 years? What's your biggest win?
Wow, what a great question. One of my favorite things that's happened recently is going to go back to one of my inspectors. He's one of my newest inspectors, and right now he's the youngest guy working for me. He told one of his good friends that I know that this is the best job he's ever had.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, that's as good as it gets.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I always balk at ever hiring staff. I'm like, I don't know that I'm going to be a good boss.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm a good boss. I admit failure to them constantly. I don't feel like
that
I'm a
might
very
make
good boss.
you a good boss.
Maybe. I mean, maybe I feel like I certainly fail at leadership. I see some people that I watch that probably names that people listen to this would know, but I watch them and they've got legit leadership, man. They're doing a great job serving, but also leading. And, leadership is one thing that I feel like I struggle. And there's challenges there because it's hard to lead someone when I'm also crawling in a crawl space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or climbing
There's a level of space there that's needed to be a leader, because you can't be a boss. But sometimes you can't be a boss and a leader at the same time.
Yeah, it's
because
tough.
the boss, you're telling him what to do, and the leader, you're like expecting, just leading by example.
Yeah.
So that's definitely difficult. I know.
Yeah,
especially when you're in growth. It's like, which do you focus on as you're growing?
I've never been comfortable with boss. I don't like the term. There's actually implications to that term that are actually pretty negative. I don't like, and I've tried to do my best to lead, to be a boss, of course, but to lead through that, like you said. And one thing my guys know that I take pride in is I don't cherry pick. I could take the nice brand new slab condos, right, that are just really close to my house. I could do that if I wanted. But Monday morning, I was in Springfield, Tennessee, 9:00 in the morning. It took me an hour and 55 minutes to get there, inspecting a house that was built in the 1890s. And it was brutal. It was a amazing home, but it had all the stuff that comes with a house built in the 1890s.
Right.
I could have given that to one of my guys, but they know that I don't. They know that I'll go do the nasty stuff just like them. So,
well, and that's one of the things that I remember even 17 years ago is that you were never hey, go do this. You were like, hey, shoulder to shoulder, let's go do this.
I try.
It was always, and that's kind of always the leadership I've tried to, like, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I wouldn't do.
Right.
And if it's yucky mucky, whatever, we're going to do it together. We're going to figure it out. We're going to get it done. So kudos to that, because I think that makes you a great leader. And then great leaders always say, I'm not a great leader. So there you go. Right. Beware the ones that are like, I'm the best leader ever.
No, that's not.
No. Well, we like to wrap up the conversation with, what is one thing that you wish the public knew about your business, or
that's
Premier or home inspections in general?
That's another fun question.
Or anything you just really love us to know about gender.
Let's let's just stick with home inspections in
Okay.
general, so that it doesn't sound like a commercial,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
I feel like it'll be more transparent and honest, maybe, if it's not doesn't sound like a commercial. But something that people don't know about home inspections is you really need to get one. You
Yeah.
really,
Don't let anybody talk you out of it.
really need to get one, even
Even
on
on a new build.
new construction, guys.
Especially.
Yes.
Especially,
We got
for
one.
sure. And I could tell you a story. I almost went into a story last week, but we'll just move along for the sake of time. But get a home inspection. Back in 2020, 21 last year, there were a lot of people that bought homes without getting a home inspection because they felt like there was no option, because the inventory was
Market.
so low, the market was so hot. There were multiple offers. There were people coming in with cash offers, no contingencies. And there are people right now that might be listening to this that bought a home and did not get a home inspection. And there are things in their home currently that are very, very dangerous and that are causing issues that are going to cost them lots of money down the road. Even if you already own your home and didn't get a home inspection, you've bought it in the last 3 years, get a home inspection. And I will tell one little quick story. I can't tell you how common my inspectors and I will go into an attic or into a utility closet, and we will see where the exhaust vent off of a water heater or a gas-fired furnace is terminating into the home. People are living on luck. That's a common thing. Electrical issues just across the gamut. So anyway, get a home inspection. Another thing that I feel like a lot of people don't know when they're in that buying process, that's a very stressful time when you buy a home. You guys have both done it recently. It's incredibly stressful. You're being asked for stuff constantly. You're being asked for money constantly. It's just, you're like bleeding dollars, and it's overwhelming. And you've got this amazing real estate agent, and those are actually the hardest working people on the planet, by the way. Realtors, people don't know how hard real estate agents work. But anyway, you've got this agent that's running the show. If you have a good agent, if you don't have an agent running the show, call me. I can probably tell you some of the good ones. But anyway, you know, a lot of times they will have a relationship with a home inspector. You don't have to use that one. If you want a true third party, you can do your research. Little tricks like, how big is their license number? If they've got a huge license number, they haven't been doing this very long. If their license number maybe only has 2 or 3 digits, that you're probably getting somebody that's more has some more season. Yeah. So yeah, you can get you can get your own third party inspector. Another thing that's really important to know about home inspections is you need to go into the home inspection with the understanding of the property you're buying and having the proper expectations.
Right.
If you're buying a house that's downtown anywhere, but especially Murfreesboro, built in 1920, just making up numbers,
Early 1900s.
early 1900s, or maybe even 1980, really.
Yeah,
1980.
yeah.
You know, that's going to be different than a brand new home. There's going to be different issues. There's going to be a different electrical stuff. There's, it's just going to be different. Don't go into that with rose colored glasses. You need to understand this home inspector is going to scratch maybe a little bit beyond the surface and possibly present some stuff that can bring some challenges. But typically, we very rarely run into things that aren't repairable. So I see people walk away from deals that maybe they shouldn't have, that because they get afraid and didn't even give an opportunity to correct some stuff. So
I can speak for my best friends. They bought a beautiful home on Lidl and had to have the entire electrical done. They had to have it completely redone. And was that a pain? Yeah. But now it's up to code, it's modern.
And I think a lot of it, I think it's not a matter of the home inspector, and this is my perspective, and you can, whether or not you agree with me, the home inspector's job is to give you the information. The information. Now you just, what you do with that information, that's up to you. So you can't rely on them saying, don't go in this home. I mean, unless depending on your relationship with them. And that was my experience, because we now have like a big home inspection report. We can approach the builder, like, we have these things. And actually the builder was like, thank you for doing this home inspection, because it's another layer of checks and balances that the super maybe didn't catch as they're checking off, hundreds of homes in that community. And so I think from my perspective, we used it as information for the future. And to be realistic about it. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to fix this right now. This is not a dead this deal
Yeah.
from right now. But now we're armed with this information for the 1-year warranty, the 5-year warranty, the 10-year warranty, or whatever warranty you have.
Yeah, I can say from my perspective, we were like, it's a new home. Why do we need an inspection?
Yeah.
And so then we got in the home, and so it was about 10 months, so 2 months shy of our 1-year inspection. We called Premier Home Inspection and said we need to know, and I mean top to bottom. And so we had 2 months. We gave it to here's our 1-year warranty. We want these things fixed.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
So granted, it could have been fixed early on if we'd done it first, but never too late.
The 1-year builder warranty is actually a good idea because it gives you a year-ish in that house that can,
To
some stuff
figure
can
out.
pop up that may not be there at the very beginning. And there's one more thing that I want to make sure to not forget to mention. Middle Tennessee has some of the highest radon levels in the nation.
Oh, yeah.
Radon, according to the EPA, I didn't make this up. According to the EPA, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. Guess what number 1 is?
Smoking.
Yeah, cigarette smoking. So if you're healthy, if you're working out, if you're not smoking, you're eating organic, you're vegan, whatever. But if you're living in a house that has high levels of radon, you are ready to get lung cancer. Please get your house checked. And that has nothing to do with if you're buying or selling. If you're living in a home and you've never had your radon levels checked, please
What would
do that.
make someone need to, like, red flag? I just had a bill. Do I need to have radon checked?
There are 0 red flags. You can't
Okay.
smell it, see it. There are no other indicators.
Do
You have to get it
information
tested.
on that on your website?
Absolutely.
All right. See? Boom. Learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to pause now and get a word from our sponsor, Cultivate Coworking. All right. It's time for our Cultivate Coworking This or That segment.
This is our Cultivate Coworking. This is our Cultivate Coworking This or That segment where we ask you rapid fire questions. So just answer.
No.
Okay. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's all good. Don't worry.
Okay. Soda or juice?
LaCroix.
Oh, bubbly.
Bubbly.
Oh, my word.
Or La Vie
Topo
from Aldi.
Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
That's my favorite. A cold glass bottle of Topo Chico. That's all
Yes.
they'll serve in heaven, just in case you're wondering.
Have you ever
never.
had Topo Chico with espresso?
No.
Try it.
Okay.
Espresso tonic, it's called.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
They have it at Brasshorn.
Oh, my goodness
Really?
gracious.
Yeah.
So you can be refreshed and caffeinated.
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite.
As he
coffee
grabs his
drink.
coffee.
It's
All right.
gives you the punch that you need when you want the espresso. A little bubbly.
Nice. So it's chilled.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Driver or passenger?
Who's driving?
It doesn't matter.
So yeah,
I'm not going to let you answer that question.
I will take I'll take passenger because I'm so tired of driving.
Yeah. And you can get your reports done.
Or just
Make some calls.
or just
not be
look
distracted.
around. That's what I want to do is just
Oh, I love
Not be
that.
enjoy-
responsible for the wheel. Yeah.
enjoy looking
That's
around.
why I love about living out where I live now. I can look around.
There is a guy when we lived off Kingwood Drive. There is an older man named CB Arnett. Some of the older folks in Murfreesboro will know him. He passed away a few years ago, and he was old. I'm talking 90s when he moved in next door to us across the street. And he always wanted me to take him for rides in his Cadillac. And I didn't understand why do you want to ride around? Well, I get it now.
You
It's
get
fun
it.
to just let somebody
Yeah.
drive you around.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's
passenger.
awesome.
Gotta do
Yeah.
that sometime.
Yeah.
Let's go for a drive. I love Sunday drives.
Yep.
yeah.
Waffle.
Or pancake.
Oh, okay. Waffle or pancake. I was like, what?
Waffle.
Waffle. You like the syrup pockets?
Yep. And they get crispier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Crispier.
I love it. And then one just for you. Would you rather inspect a roof or a crawl space?
Oof. A roof.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So heights, not much, but snake
Oh,
skins.
I'm-
but a bit.
I'm not afraid of heights. I'm scared to death of falling and hitting the ground, but crawl spaces are, oh my goodness, they're just,
Creepy.
yeah.
The claustrophobia would
ex-
get me.
how
Like not the
excited.
darkness. The claustrophobia would get me. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't.
One time in my
Get in.
career, and guys, over the years, I've done thousands, and I've been under some houses that I can't believe I went under because that's the job, right? There's a there's a part of us, if we get to this point, you can shut off the fear, you can shut off the, oh my gosh, you just do what you got to do, right?
Right.
Because that's what you're there to do. But there was a house over in Green Hills once, I'll never forget this, and it was shaped like some kid had a bunch of Legos. It wasn't a square house like typical. It had all kinds of different corners, even had some round parts of the foundation. And I got so deep up in the crawl space. It's like 4,000 square feet, one level.
Whoa.
Yeah. And it was ancient too. It was built in like the 60s.
Green Hills.
And I get to a point to where I was lost. I didn't realize, I couldn't figure out where I was for a moment, just a moment. I couldn't see the crawl space door. There's always that gleam of light. If things get sketchy, y'all can always look back and you see that light coming through the crawl space
Our
door.
brain likes to know where we are.
That's right. And I lost that for a moment. And I freaked out for a second. I just had to take a breath, say, look, man, worst case scenario, you just crawl around till you find it. And that's what I did. I just found a foundation wall and crawled until I found the door. So
Wow.
Yeah, good times.
No, I'm good.
Everybody's
I was
freaking
waiting
out.
for a critter story there.
Oh, I've got critter
thanks for
stories.
that. I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good information. Catch Brent on a roof. Got it.
Say wave hi to Brent on the roof.
That's right.
Okay, cool. That was our this or that segment.
That's pretty interesting.
Now it's time for our Be Present Nugget of Wisdom. All right. The Be Present Nugget of Wisdom is just a little thing that kind of brings it all together, gives you time to reflect. Today's is brought to you by Ted Lasso. Woo!
Awesome.
Have you seen the show?
No. but
Oh my gosh.
I can't
Okay.
find anybody that will give me their password. What is it on? Is it HBO? or-
Apple
Apple.
TV.
Apple
You can do
TV.
a month free. You can do a month free trial if and binge it. I'm
Okay.
sure. Okay, so I hope that either all of us or none of us are judged by the actions of our weakest moments,
Oh my goodness.
but rather the strength we show when and if we're given a second chance.
Yeah. That's the story.
Oh,
So that
that's so
came.
good.
I picked that out prior to your story about working with people in the therapy. Where you're bringing in people that you might have some psychology around working on your team and stuff like that. But the nugget of wisdom always comes together prior to recording, and somehow it always
fits.
relates.
Yeah.
So
It's amazing.
I'm not surprised.
I think that deserves one more read. Can you?
Okay.
Yeah, that one's deep.
I hope that either all of us or none of us are not judged by the actions of our weakest moments, but rather the strength we show when and if we're given a second chance.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
We could do a
Good.
whole podcast just on that.
Yeah, we like to say there's a Ted Lasso moment in all of our podcasts. So thanks for bringing that up. That's a great one, and that's from the most recent episode. I love it very, very much. So, Brent, tell us how to find Premier Home Inspections on all the intrawebs.
Okay. The best way is our website.
Okay.
Which is www.premierinspectiontn.com. It's Premier Inspection, no S on the end of inspection, TN like Tennessee.com. Of course, we're on Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. Our phone number is another great way. Tracy, it will be eagerly at the office waiting your call, 615-481-7293.
Nice. So, wrap up, get the home inspection.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Get the home inspection.
No
Whether
matter
it's-
where you're at.
Whether it's Premier or someone else,
Yep.
get a good,
Yeah.
get a home inspection
And
for sure.
and it doesn't have to be during your home buying process.
That's right.
Like the testing and or even mold.
Yeah.
Radon or all the things. Okay, that's a good wrap. Premier Inspection singular TN.com.
PREMIER if you're listening.
That's
Yeah,
right.
unless you're French and you spell it weird. Yeah. Don't. So thanks for joining us. We love the story side of things.
Yeah.
And 17 years in independent business.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
That's huge. That's huge. A family owned, minority owned. Woo, Brent. Way to
Yes.
go, Ginger. So congratulations, and we hope you're here for many, many, many more.
Me too. Thank y'all. This has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, and we'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
Happy birthday, Marissa!
Yay.
See, we're
was fun,
so